Have you ever wondered how developed your career has to be before A&R is seriously interested today? Well, if you have, then you'll definitely want to check out our featured conversation with Mike Daly, Executive Director of A&R at the Walt Disney Group. We discuss the non-creative qualities he looks for in artists, as well as the specific factors you need to have to pursue a career in music, and much, much more. Right now. This episode of the MUBUTV Insider video series is brought to you by the Music Business Registry. The Music Business Registry is the leading music industry publisher of the most up-to-date contact information for major and independent record label A&R, music publishers, artist managers, music attorneys, music supervisors, and much, much more. The Music Business Registry is the trusted industry standard and source serving the music business community for over 30 years with the most accurate and up-to-date contact information available. Their titles include the A&R Registry, the Film and Television Music Guide, the Music Publisher Registry, and the Music Attorney Registry. All of their publications are available in PDF, CSV, or online subscription. Visit musicregistry.com and use coupon code MUBUTV10 at checkout. That's musicregistry.com, coupon code MUBUTV10. When you're ready to put your music to work, musicregistry.com. Hi, this is Ritch Esra from MUBUTV, where our mission is to educate, empower, and engage artists and music business professionals who are dedicated to having a successful career in the music business. We're coming to you from Muse Expo in Burbank, California, where we managed to catch up with Executive Director of A&R for Walt Disney, Mike Daly. Mike, thanks so much for joining us.
Thanks, pleasure to be here.
I appreciate it. Mike, you work for one of the largest companies in the world, Walt Disney, who has a huge footprint in music. How do you, in terms of your job, how do you find artists today?
Well, I think today artists come to you more ways than ever. There's online, there's live, there's managers. I feel like if you take all the way you used to find artists and then you just add on the internet, it all comes, the issue today is there's never been so much music, and it's easier now than ever to be good, and it's harder than ever to be great.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. And based on that, I'm curious, can you talk about the non-creative qualities that you look for in artists? I mean, a lot of times, there's talent, and we all know, and you don't have to name names, but we all know situations where you've come across somebody who's incredibly talented, and for one reason or another, you don't get involved, you don't sign them. So I'm curious if you could speak to those qualities that you look for in talent that are not creative, if you could talk about what those are.
Right, well, there's a number. One of the big ones for me is I see my job as an A&R person, along with helping get the music right and get everything else right. I'm going to be the guy in the foxhole with this artist. I don't want to be in the foxhole with a jerk. It's sort of that simple. I need somebody that I feel like we vibe with, who I'm going to be able to have those hard conversations with. Because if I can't have those hard conversations, I'm not doing them any service here. My journey's been a little bit different, having been an artist back in the day. And Mark Williams was my A&R guy when I was coming up, who I love to this day. And then being a writer and a producer, and now doing the A&R side. I see it from a lot of different sides. And the biggest thing is the artist has got to be unbelievably talented. The music has to move me, and it has to be somebody that I'm going to go through the battle and the journey with, because no matter how great you are, there's going to be tough times. It's like anything else. And then above and beyond that, a lot of it's who's around them, who's the team, who's their social setting. If you have a guy who's unbelievably talented but surrounded by people that are dragging them down, it's probably not going to get there. So I really look for all the things out. But for me, it's always the music first and who they are as a person.
You mentioned in the element of the team, the things that surround them. And I'm curious, based on that, how important is an art? How do I put this? I guess, does an artist today have to have some level of development prior to getting signed to a deal?
I think it's hard to quantify, because it's hard to quantify what some level of development would be. Artists now have the opportunity to test things in the market and develop on their own like never before. You could put music up on SoundCloud and see if anybody cares, and then take it down if they don't and change it out. You can build your fan base a million different ways. Nobody can ever work as hard as the artist, and they have to be like the point of the spear. Like if they're not driving it, it's never going to work. So I think that everybody can develop, everybody should be trying to develop on their own. And at the same time, I don't go by metrics. I don't go, okay, 100,000 Instagram followers, you're in, or I need 200,000, you're out. To me, music is the ultimate connection device, right? I feel like sometimes what we lose is that what we're selling is connection. Like I like to think about cigarettes, right? It's a nicotine delivery device. Music is a human connection delivery device. People want to hear their music and feel connected in this world. That's sort of our end goal. So for me, it's got to connect with me personally first. I've got to love it. If I think it's outstanding and it has no footprint, great. If it has a massive footprint and I just don't believe in it, then I'm not the guy.
Mike, when we look at the signing process today, both major and independent, we see different kinds of deals, more deals that are fully encompassing an artist's career. Mm-hmm. My question to you is, because you're involved in more aspects of an artist's career today, has that changed the criteria of how you evaluate talent? Are you looking at, wow, but they're a phenomenal live performer and we could do really well on live shows as well as merch and other elements? Or are those things not even considered when you're considering signing an act? Well,
I think it'd be untruthful and naive to say that everybody doesn't consider every piece of their business, right? I mean, every band, every artist at some level is a small business, right? And you're investing in that small business to try to make it a bigger business. Now, there's plenty of bands who aren't on the radio and make millions of dollars a year on the road. That's great. That's one business. There's other bands that kill it on sync and get on the radio, but their live business isn't big. You want to grow every vertical of that business and help them with every way. But, I think they all feed each other, right? If you're getting a lot of syncs, that's probably going to help you at radio, and that's probably going to help you at live, right? If you're crushing it live and you're bringing radio PDs down and there's 1,000 kids, singing choruses of songs that aren't on the radio, like that's going to help. If you have a big streaming story, that's going to help radio. It's all, they don't exist in vacuums. And I think that you have to just see it as a complete package and how you can feed each of them and how they in turn will feed each other.
Okay. Working at Disney, one of the things I'm curious about in your role as an A&R executive, how much of your time is spent working with the acts that are already on the label, mm-hmm. making records and music, versus new talent that you bring in? Is there a division of time or effort with regards to that at a company like Disney, where a lot of times other entities of the Disney company are giving you artists to work with?
I think it's on a sliding scale. I think you go through seasons where there's a lot of things coming from different properties, and so it maybe leans a little more in that direction. And then there's other seasons where there's not as much, so you lean a little in the other direction. What's interesting about it over there is you have Hollywood Records, which is the mainline pop, alternative rock, etc. label. You have Walt Disney Records, which is primarily the soundtracks. And we have Buena Vista Records, which is our joint venture with Universal Nashville, which is straight country. And then you have our publishing company and our touring division as well. But on the label side, you're just trying to have a diverse roster. We also want music that other parts of the company want to partake in, right? So is this the kind of thing that ABC wants to license? Is this the kind of thing that Freeform wants to license? So it's really thinking of it, how can we help break this artist, and how can the artist also help serve the much wider company?
It's interesting, as you're speaking, I'm thinking, it's so well, your answer is so well thought out in terms of the divisions and how you're thinking how talent can serve the other needs of mm-hmm. so many other areas of your company. Can you talk about, in your opinion, because you have a lot of experience and background as an artist and a writer and a producer and an executive, given what you had just said, what's the greatest challenge you face today in developing artists, or do you feel is the greatest challenge with regards to talent development?
Well, I think talent development always has been and always will be a very long and winding road. I think today it's really that there's just so much noise in the marketplace. It's trying to get things that rise above that's really hard. And I also think because everybody has data analytics teams behind the scenes, I also believe a lot of things are getting signed way too early and should develop and grow a little bit more. You know, there's, people hit certain Spotify numbers or whatever. Doesn't really mean they're ready for a record deal. You know, it means like, yeah, that's one really good song and for whatever reason. But I think you get a danger of signing too many things like that have a very small blip. And then trying to, you only have so much soup to go around for the kids, right? So, you want everybody to have a full belly at the end of the night and grow.
Right.
And I think the danger can be just dividing your resources too thinly and then growing none of them, So we try to sign less and go longer and be more focused on them.
Okay. In your opinion, given that you've been an artist, given that you're a songwriter, given that you've been a producer and now an A&R executive, what in your mind, because you have a lot of experience in all those areas dealing with this next question, what in your mind are the qualities that make a great A&R executive?
Oh, man. Well, I can speak from my experience, right? I mean, we all love Mark Williams. He was our guy. I felt like I could call Mark at any time about anything and have a good conversation about like, hey, is this like right? Is it, because you just don't know. I remember very clearly what it's like to suddenly be on a major label and not know how any of it works. I've sat down in writing and producing with artists I've been producing, explaining to them how their publishing deals work because nobody did that. So to me, I feel like a big part is just like sort of educating people and telling them the truth. I mean, we've all seen more careers destroyed because people don't tell the truth. And I feel like it has to be somebody you trust and somebody who's willing to have the hard conversations with you, even when you don't want to have them. But I also have a lot of empathy for the artists, for the writers, for the producers, because, I was an artist and I still write and produce. So, sometimes I joke my curses, I can see it from everybody's perspective. So, it's, sometimes it's a lot.
Okay. If you could change one aspect of the industry today, what would it be?
If I could change one aspect of the industry today, what would it be? I would say it would be the compensation of songwriters from the DSPs.
Okay, yeah, that's a very, very big one. And with the Modern Music Modernization Act and the fight now that's about to ensue with Spotify.
Yeah,
that's a major one
going
on. So okay.
I mean, at the end of the day, songs survive everything, right? How many songs, if you put on an oldie station, some song will come on, you'll start singing along because your dad or your grandpa used to play that song. You don't know who the artist is. You don't know what label they were on. You don't know any of that, but songs last forever. And I think we just have to remember that in this industry, if we don't have songs, we have nothing.
What would be the top pieces of advice you would have for artists who are pursuing a career in music today?
Commerce follows art. Art should never follow commerce. And to that end, there are teams of A&Rs at our label, at every other major label, at all the indie labels, who are looking for great artists and great music. If you just focus on making the music as great as you can, I guarantee you, somebody will find you. I know it feels like an ivory tower. I know it feels like if I could only just get it to so-and-so, they would see the light. people are looking. Be the artist, focus on your art, put it up on SoundCloud, put it up in the world. Yes, do your Instagram, all those things you need to do. But the main thing to do is try to make the art as great as it can be. Because at the end of the day, no amount of marketing budget or radio push is ever going to be more powerful than great songs.
Man, that was some really great information from Mike. And what makes this so valuable to you guys is that he's also an established musician and songwriter himself. So, insiders, here's the question of the day. From this video, what were the most important takeaways that you found from our conversation with Mike? Was it the non-creative qualities he looks for in artists? Do you need to have a certain level of development before getting signed? Or are you interested in becoming an A&R executive and learning what specific qualities are needed today to succeed in that area of the business? Do you have any ideas or experiences that you'd like to share regarding this topic? We'd love to hear from you and connect in the comments below. Thanks so much for watching this video. Make sure to subscribe to MUBUTV for more information on how to educate, empower, and engage your music career. In addition, we recently put together a free guide on the best strategies to use when contacting A&R executives. This is extremely important before beginning your journey. So, if you're interested in receiving it, we've included a link to that in the description below. It's totally free, and it goes through the top do's and don'ts before you even think about reaching out to A&R. Questions such as asking yourself, is my music 100% ready to go? Making sure you don't include any attachments, only emails and direct links to either your Spotify or SoundCloud accounts, and much, much more. This is an incredibly crucial guide into learning the art and etiquette of connecting with the A&R community. So if you're interested in receiving that, we'll link it to the description below. You can also check out a summary of this episode and everything we talked about in the YouTube description as well. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you liked it, we'd really love it if you hit the like button and let us know what other kinds of content and videos you would like to see on this channel. And we'll see you in the next video.